Okay. So, yes, I went to go see Avatar The Way of Water in 4DX at the Regal Nashville, Hollywood Nashville Theater. 4DX, I told you guys about this before, but it's like the moving chairs with the water and stuff. So it really gives you like it. The screen is IMAX and it's 3D, so you have the glasses, but it's like you're underwater and the chairs all move. You're like moving with the characters. It's really cool. Anyway, and then they have like wind and water and air, and it's very cool. Like actual wind will hit you because they have wind in the floors and wind in the chairs, and they have water sprayers coming from the ceiling and under the chair and in the chair, so it like hits you at all these different angles. And then they have the massage thing on the chair. So like if someone get punched, the chair will like punch you in the back, so you kind of feel it too. So it's like it brings this like shock emotion to you, so that you kind of like know how it feels. It's actually very cool. It's like if an arrow flies by, because you're seeing this in 3D, like you'll feel the wind of the arrow flying by your ear. It's so cool. Um, Okay, so let's talk about there's so much that happened in this movie. I knew I was gonna like it, and I'll probably definitely go see it again. I just don't know when I'll have the time to. This might be one of the ones I watch like every day for the next month. So good. Okay, so basically, oh man. Okay, so basically we have the two main characters from the last movie, like Zoe Saldana and the guy. The guy was an Avatar, but now he's become like a full Navi. Um, and Jake Shuri, I think that's his name, and I can't remember Zoe Saldana's character's name in the film, but so they get married, and they have like three, three. Yeah, they have three biological children, and they adopt one daughter who is that female researcher from the last movie, who is the human female researcher. She's like older. So she all of the humans in that like research pod, well, not all of them, but most of them actually ended up dying off because I think the Navi like killed them or like sent them back or something. And so, but remember they had that they were like recording and making videos and stuff about like their final days and kind of what they predicted was going to happen, because I think like the premise of the film is that like earth is no longer habitable, so the Navi people who live in like they are now inhabiting the earth. And so there's all these, the Navi people are like one people, they're like this forest tribe, but we get introduced in this film to like a whole bunch of other tribes. There's like sea tribes. There's probably others like wind tribes. There's all these other tribes that we haven't really gotten unpacked. But the Navi tribe, the one that's from the last movie, they're like the forest dwellers. And so they just like know how to live and survive amongst the plants and stuff. And we also kind of see that with the daughter that's adopted. She has these like underwater powers to be able to like talk to the jellyfish and talk to these like sea urchins and get them to like work with her for protection. I think that's very cool. So she's got these like, I guess it's like audiophonic sort of enhanced capabilities where she understands how to communicate with like plants. um I will say this movie to me, and this could just be me. To me, it was giving the humans are Caucasian people, and the Navi and other tribes people are the people in Africa. And because there's, like I said before, there's like 54 countries in Africa, so like the Navi people are supposed to be like one tribe. It could be like Ethiopia or something, and then the sea people could be like Nigerian or something, whatever. Because then they started getting into mermaids, and if you guys didn't know, like mermaids are actually real, and they originated in Haiti. They're like a whole, they kind of had their actual, they're like basically they were human, and then they kind of devolved into some sort of like demonic type stuff, and then they literally they learned how to like live in the sea because they were outcast from the other portion of like Haitian society. There's like, I saw a couple documentaries on this where some other people talked about it. I didn't know it was real, and then I watched the documentaries and I was like, oh wow. So yeah. Anyway, so oh, where are we going with this? Oh, okay. So let's talk about some themes in the movie. Like, I don't want to run through the whole plot. I just kind of want to run through some major themes. One of the themes that really hit home for me was this idea of family, and family being really important. Now, I agree, family is extremely important, but it also, and I think the end of the movie just did such a good job of like conveying this. There's so much pressure on mothers. I mean, in this case, the mother, she literally gets to a point where she has to physically fight for her child. And there's like a whole thing where it's like her child or another, or the guy who she's fighting, his child. And so it's like the dad versus the mom kind of like battling it out, like who's like one life for another. And then she ends up like losing a child. It's just like the whole thing was just like, oh my god, mothers have it the worst. It's so hard for mothers. Being a mother is so difficult. And I mean, I don't know, to me it was just another example of how like much of a sacrifice, women have to make when they're choosing to have a family. Because so there's this other sea tribe. Basically, the humans end up like hunting out Jake Shuri because I think he ended up killing a lot of those human people because they, remember, they were trying to take over the Avatar's land. That was the whole point. They were like, this is going to be our land now. We're taking it. We don't care what you say. And they're like, no, you're not. Like, we're living here. So they fought them off and they won. And Jake ended up helping, and he actually ended up killing like a lot of them. And so basically, he's like on the run. He's not really on the run, but they basically start hunting him out. Because remember, there's all these other, like villages and tribes and shit that are living in all of these other parts of the world. And like he basically has to leave the Navi community because the Navi community is at risk if he stays, because those human tribes are literally saying, we are going to kill Jake. The whole point of kind of this movie is just they're hunting out Jake. It seems like there is this sort of theme where there are these like rhino seals who live in the ocean, and they supposedly have like a vial of this like life enhancing yellow juice serum. I feel like this is the same sort of concept we kind of saw in Wakanda, where there's like the resource. I can't remember the name of the resource that Wakanda has. Is it Ethereum or something? Whatever they have, their like resource is that mineral that they can make all the shit out of in Wakanda. The same thing happens in Avatar, except those like these seals have it, and it's like this life juice that can stop human aging. And so it's supposed to be worth like a ton of money. So what they end up doing, they end up killing one of the seals. These are like really big seals. They look like they might weigh like a ton or maybe 2 or 3 tons. They're like huge, very powerful. And so in order to like trap and kill one, they had, I mean, it was so brutal, like watching that animal die. I mean, they had shot basically like they shot like four missiles into its wings to trap it, and then they put these like bubble shoots or something, and then they just shoot it a bunch of. It was just so brutal. Like, it was so brutal. It really made me feel like, man, like probably, I don't know, humanity has done so much to like nature and the environment and really to other humans, and the brutality, it was so awful, like watching that animal die. Like, he was just chilling in the water, like, yeah. And then there's a whole other story about how like one of those animals, he was like outcast. And actually the same thing that had happened to the one animal that got killed, there's another one of that species, and he'd gotten like outcasted from the tribe because he witnessed like a murder, and they said that he was a killer, but he actually didn't kill anyone. But because they thought he did, he was like outcasted or something. But then remember, the Navi people can connect with their like braid, and then the braid can connect to the fiber of the other animals, and they can like see, they can share stories. So he makes the first the animal ends up saving his life, and then one of Jake's kids makes friends with him, and then he shares the story. That's basically what happened. I mean, okay, so I'm like telling you the whole story around Avatar. The point is, I really enjoyed the movie, like I knew I would. The special effects were incredible. The themes and the storyline are really incredible. To me, Avatar is my favorite movie, and now I think they're making it into like a whole complete series of films. Like they already have like the TV show. But the big point here is like the reason I really liked Avatar is because it really explored like humanity, tribalism, connection to Earth and what it means to live on Earth. And but tribalism, it had very much so, like if you are a person who watches like Star Wars, like Next Generation, and you're into like ethics and morality and kind of like making ethical decisions and in relation to tribalism and like in relation to tribes in power, I think that that's something interesting to unpack, and I think Avatar does a good job of that. So yeah, I'll probably watch it again and kind of like hone in on some of these themes a little more. But I did want to share with you guys because I saw the movie tonight and I just thought it was really good. Yeah.